And we're back. Not at 4:30 a.m., says Sarah. I think that's probably a good call. We will be back at 4:30 a.m. on Friday with a special guest, old Nelly here. Thanks, guys. It is Tuesday, September 3rd. And we're going to talk about some workouts. We got a lot of workouts to talk about today, and then we got a lot of workouts to talk about later in the week as well with John and Travis. But we were at the CrossFit Games, so we'll kind of just recap it a little bit. We were at the Masters CrossFit Games last week. Nelson and Coach Lando were there with me. We were all coaching athletes. Yeah, it was good. You want to do a quick recap for all of the millions that are going to watch now that weren't watching over the weekend? How are you guys recovering?
Good. I mean, I feel like when it's a travel day like that, you completely just lose a day. And that's definitely like what I did. But back to or attempting to be back to some form of consistency now. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I think it was I feel like a lot of those times, as we talked about on the podcast, it's a lot more mentally fatiguing for the coach than it is for the athlete. And I mean, it's also, just a lot of long days, but I feel pretty good.
Cool. Lando, how you feeling? Are you already in your next destination?
No, I'm at home. I leave tomorrow. So
okay.
Yeah. I'm good.
Right.
It just last night got in pretty late, right, especially with the time change. So then it was I didn't get home till 12:30 or something like that. So then going to sleep was rough because then I woke up at Central Time. So I was like, oh, this is rough. But I'll get on the schedule going forward. I think it'll be all right.
Cool. Yeah, it was good to get home at whatever time I dropped you guys off at 11. And I just went right into dad mode. So like Nelson said, it wasn't a day lost. I got to hang out with Bennett all day, but it was it was like a weekend day. So no work was done till the night. It definitely wasn't a work day, even though I fucking
threw on the techno beats and went to work.
Yeah, that'll be tonight too. Yeah, no JY. We're trying to just branch it out. I felt like Nelson Orlando did a good job over the weekend, so we'll continue to bring them on as JY has his skill set, and so I want to start to bring my coaches on. We have a good team here and a lot of smart people. So JY also doesn't give a fuck about Masters, and neither does Travis, right? So that also doesn't hurt either. Thanks, Ken. All right. So what we're going to do today is there was 10 workouts for the Masters CrossFit Games, and we're going to rewrite them. Each one we'll go over. We won't spend too much time on it, but just to kind of give our thoughts based on what we saw. We had athletes competing in every division, multiple age groups, and then Nelson had some team athletes. But our goal here is just to, take what we knew and learn from talking with Bob and Joe, implement some of that, and overall just improve the totality of the test. So before we get into it, I think the tests were really good.
Yeah.
I think there were a lot of objective limitations, not just they wanted to do something different. And kind of where we leaned with most of it, or where I lean with most of it is, if the equipment was available, it probably would have looked something like this. And so some changes, some we kept the same. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the adjustments for the older masters, within each of these workouts too. And then we'll kind of put something together for all 10 workouts and see what we, based on what we say, we'll write it, and then we'll come up with something together for each one. We either choose or adjust to fit, and then we'll go from there. But Bob said that he loves to do big, long events, and he feels like it's one of the masters. I can't hide that. Complaints with all the games is that there's not enough events. So he ran 10. I love it. I kept 10 tests. I didn't delete any tests or add any. What did you like, Orlando, when you were looking at this, kind of what were your thought processes? What were you trying to accomplish rewriting it?
more balance, right? Like I was trying to think about like how, like where to add other movements to just, because I think there was a lot of squat volume, right? Like more overall. So I think there was other movements you could add in and kind of it changed the test slightly. But like I was looking at it and like Will Morat's longest workout was 11:30, right?
Right.
So like we need something where even the fittest was getting 15 to 16 minutes. Like that's kind of what I was thinking. So like how do we get there? But I know that's only one test. But other than that, right, I think even if you get to like 13, 14 minutes, I think it changes the stimulus throughout the whole weekend, just added volume and stuff. So that's kind of what I was looking at.
Cool. Nelson, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, like you said, took it from the approach of like keeping the workouts the way they were, but if we had ideally all the equipment that we wanted. And then I changed, just also assuming that we have a schedule that's completely open to whatever we want, and not having to worry about like this stuff needed here, like can't make this too long because it's interrupting stuff on this floor. So made some of the workouts like a little bit more longer and also a little bit more like transition bias. But didn't necessarily delete any of them, and kind of just like tweaked stylistically some different things.
Got it. All right, let's party. All right, so here is event 1, or here is our 10 events. We'll go through, we'll just go one by one. So we had, and then I'm going to pull up the age group adjustments that we had. So the first workout was 4 rounds, run, and ascending ladder of deadlifts. Okay, and so that looked a little bit different for each age group. But for the most part, it was pretty much the same. A little bit shorter run, a little bit lighter load, but still 5, 10, 15, 20. All right. What'd you guys do? Lando, you want to start?
So I just think based on what we know, like I just think especially like space and where they could run and stuff, I would just add a 600 to the end of that, right? Like I just think there's something to adding another like 2 minute, you know what I mean, to that workout. And then I think you pace it different. Like they could go unbroken, but then maybe they run slower, right? So that adds in a different piece. So yeah, I don't think it'll be hard to write it as 4 rounds, right? It would just be like run whatever. Yeah, 5th run and finish. Like I thought that was simple enough to not make too many changes on that one. Because other than that, I would just blow it out and rewrite.
Right. Whoa. All right, Nelson, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I basically said the same thing. I actually didn't change this one. I mean, like I think when it initially came out, we had the conversation like, I don't really like it all that much. I felt like it resembled and kind of gave the theme of the semifinals workout with clean and jerks. My first initial thought was like, oh, maybe let's make it clean and jerks. But after seeing the scores, my only thing would be either to make the run just longer. So that way it favors less of like the athlete that's just really powerful and sprinty. So yeah, that was really the only thing, like maybe like make it like an ascending or like maybe like a descending run scheme, but like the first run is longer. But I mean, that's,
So did you write a workout or not?
No, I kept it the same.
Okay. So you kept it the same.
Yeah.
All right. As is. All right. So I went with, pull mine up. Hold on. Group. So I went a little more aggressive, well, a lot more aggressive. And so I went an extra run, a longer run, and a heavier bar. So, and the reason why was I wanted, so this is 1.5 miles or 2.5 miles, right? So right there, we're looking at taking out that 12 minutes. No one's going to make that point because there's so much more distance on the run and they're still finishing on the bar. And so it was the same as yours, Lando. It's just a finish on the run. So it's still 4 rounds ascending.
Yeah.
Right. So it's still 4 rounds ascending, right? 5, 10, etc. And I made it, and it's not that much heavier, right? I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, but they're going to be off the bar a lot longer, right? So I felt like their posterior chain fatigue wouldn't really be as bad. So I made it a little bit heavier just because, the only other heavy piece truly was this. Like this was powered. This wasn't that heavy, right? And so I made a lot of other gymnastics adjustments there. And so it was finishing on the run, same as Lando's, but just with a little bit heavier of a barbell too. So just to make sure that we were getting close to that 20-minute mark. I'm probably not quite to that point, but getting close, right? I'd like to see a lot of people over 20, but I mean, our best athletes wouldn't be over 20 at that point too. So, so 4,000 meters, 50 deadlifts at 275, 190. And I went with 190 because they went with a weird ass number. So, 255 was weird. I don't know why 180 was the number. Now that I think about it, it's probably heavy. I don't know. It's a weird number. Anyways, what do you guys think?
I like it. My initial thought was like maybe change the deadlift rep scheme, but to a little lower. But I mean, if we're trying to push into that like 20-minute zone, like they'll just pace the run more. So I think it's good.
Yep. All right, sick. So are we leaving it? Are we changing it? Are we staying with Lando's?
I like that. I mean, I think that as they talked about, they wanted a longer piece. So I feel like they probably wouldn't have made it heavier. How would you break that down into the age groups?
I mean, probably the same relative regression.
Okay.
Like, I mean, Lynn got what in that workout? Orlando? Second, third?
She got third.
Yeah, so Lynn is one of the weaker female 60s, so it certainly wasn't too heavy.
Yeah.
Right. And so it would still be 5 rounds and we would just drop the run, right? So like it would probably end instead of a 400, preferably a 600. If we went down. So it was 400 for 4 rounds, which is a mile. A 600 for 5 rounds is almost 2 miles. I mean, that's probably what I would go with. I think that actually fits pretty well. And then just keep the bar light, right? So they're running 4,000 meters, and then every 2 age groups, or like at 55, it drops to 700. Maybe 50 and 55, it drops to 700. And then 60 and 65, it drops to 600.
Yeah.
I don't think under 2 miles is too much. I mean, they all ran a 5K. So we tested and figured it out, but I think this is there. And then the barbell would probably just be, it was 255, 180, 245, right? And so I'd scale it every couple of age groups all the way down. It would just be a little bit heavier, probably finishing at like 185, 125, or 135 or something like that. So just a little bit heavier.
It was at 135, so it'd be like 155 maybe
for her, but I was looking at 65. So like, yeah, so probably 145, 205, like probably just 10 pounds heavier for them. So I don't think it would make that much of a difference.
No.
All right. Boom, boom, bam. All right. Event 2, 4 rounds for time, 4 rope climbs, 15, 6 sandbag cleans, and 40-foot handstand walk. All right. Nelson, you start.
Yeah, so I think the first thing that we want to talk about too is, do we switch the order of any events? So if we're talking about just like this test in like isolation, then we can talk about that. But like I also, in the order that ideally every single athlete attempted it, I also changed. So like I put event 3 as event 2.
Why?
I just wanted to see like, really long, high aerobic piece, like paired up directly with sprint really aggressively, which I think that was the order that at least the 35 to 39 performed the test, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean,
in a situation where all of them, which none of them did at like outside of compared like age group to age group, had them all run through different ways, I would have them all run through the same if possible type thing. But we can talk about the second one. Basically, I just I just made a little bit more high skill and like regressed the high skill as it went on. So kept the workout basically the same, but round 1 went rope climb. Round 2 went like 2 and 2 legless and regular rope climb. And then 3rd and 4th round did like 2 legless, 2 regular, and then like a L sit. Not in that order though. I think it started L sit, then 2 legless, then 2 regular. So it increased like rope climb skill as the workout went on.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like a little convoluted to write. So basically, like first round's the same.
Okay.
And then like second round was 2 legless rope climbs. Yeah.
So you increased the skill of the rope climbs throughout it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, just like looking at how most of those athletes were working through those rope climbs, wanted to up the challenge a little bit, but.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I need you to write it down somewhere.
Okay.
I can't. I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah, it would be really tough to write. It would be like
round one.
Climb.
You're fired. You're fired from rewriting workouts. What? We're 0 for 2, and you have, okay. So round one is
like 4. What? Like it's exactly how it's written.
4 rope climbs.
You could also just like write the workout as it's written, and then just put like an asterisk next to rope climb.
Okay. All right. 4 rounds.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. There we go. 4 rope climbs.
With like 4, an asterisk.
Got it. 6 sandbag cleans. 40-foot handstand walk. Okay. And then what's my asterisk?
Round 1 is 4 rope climbs. Yeah. Round 2 is like, and this is where, you know, it can also regress differently. But like round 2, I originally had like 2 legless, 2 regular.
Okay. And this is for everyone?
No, this would be like as written, and then it would regress down.
Okay.
Like round 3 is 4 legless.
Jesus. Okay.
And then round 4 is 2 like L sit, and then 2 regular.
2
but like not true L sit, like the L
legless?
sit. No, 2 regular rope climb.
Rope climbs?
Yeah.
Is this an L sit legless rope climb?
Yeah, it's like the one that we saw at semis, where like you have a line and your legs can drop like below the line once you're past it.
But is it legless?
Yeah.
Okay.
But not like where you have to maintain an L sit.
That makes sense. No one's. You couldn't. I don't think you could actually ever.
You can't.
Enforce
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Okay. All right. Got it. All right, Lando, you're up. Lando, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
There. Yeah, now you're back. All right.
I don't know what happened. So, yeah, I did 2 rounds of 2 legless, and then just kept it the same, basically, right? 6 sandbags, and then 40-foot handstand. And then I did 4 rope climbs, and then 6 sandbag cleans, and then 60 handstand walk.
So 2 more rounds?
Yep, 2 more rounds.
2 rounds. Okay. 2 rounds, 6 sandbag cleans.
And then 60.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, sick. All right. All right. So, okay, cool. All right. So I went with. So I kept it pretty similar. I didn't change much. I only changed the handstand walk. All right. So I just went with a longer handstand walk. And so the reason why I did that was a couple of the other changes that I made later on increased. I mean, I think we had a lot of pulling, right? I think like based on the last workout, event 10, the standard, the chest to bar, I didn't think we needed to increase the complexity of the rope climb. Like I felt like it was good at volume. We had toes to bar. So I just didn't feel the need to increase the skill level there. And so I just went with the increased skill level of the handstand walk, right? So 80 feet, I think people start to just get a little more fatigued. You know, maybe even like increase the sandbag cleans there, but probably not. We should have this huge workout here. But it seems like I might be outdone. So maybe it's like, So this is what I went with.
Yeah.
I went with 80. All right. What do we think?
I like Lando's, but maybe we flip it.
Why do you feel we have to end on a higher skill? Why can't we start with a higher skill?
I mean, I just feel like that's like the test, right?
Maybe.
I mean,
guess.
I feel like that's a lot more challenging to end on that higher skill. And I feel like in a lot of competitive situations, we progress, we don't regress.
Okay.
But I mean, that's just what tickles my fancy.
Lando, what do you think?
Yeah, now that I think about it, I don't know. I do want more. I like the 2 legless though, just because I think that's faster, right? They'll get to the hard part, but maybe increase the handstand walk, right? Instead of 60, go to 80.
Yeah, I mean, I like maybe flipping it and keeping it 2 rope climbs instead of 4.
Here?
Yeah.
No, I definitely think 4 is the play. I think that's probably maybe a little too short. So, all right. So it looks like Lando. So I'm thinking 2 rounds, 4 rope climbs, 6 sandbag cleans. I like a longer handstand walk, right? I think this is there because then that trickles down into the other bits, right? And so then it goes 2 rounds of 2 legless, 6 sandbag cleans. I mean, really, it could be 4, depending on the gauge group. 2 is probably not enough. What do we think about?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about like?
I don't know. You don't think that would like start to become like a big separator between people?
2? No, I think 2 is probably still pretty short. I think at that point. I mean, I know it is. Maybe it is. I was thinking maybe we go 4-3. Yeah, I was thinking maybe we go 4-3-2-1 legless each round, and it goes down.
Oh.
Yeah, I like that.
Then it looks nice too.
Yeah.
What do you think? And then it's still a total, so it's a little bit less overall volume, right? It's like 4-3-2-1, legless rope climbs, 6 sandbag cleans.
Yeah, just keep it simple.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I like that a lot. I'm curious, you know, we talked about how like the majority of like all the masters and all the different age divisions had the skills. Like how would that regress into age groups in the sense where like
you just go shorter and then
like legless to 12.
You could go shorter, right? And then just shorter numbers, right? Like
sure.
So 40 would be the same, right? 40 would be the same workout. 45 could be like 3-3-2-1, or just like, I don't know, like maybe it's 4 regular, 3-2-1. And then 50 is like 3-2-1-1
or something like that.
Yeah, 2-2-1-1, which is 6. And then it goes down, and then 55 goes 2-2-1-1 to 12 feet. 60 is 2-1-1-1-1. Yeah, maybe it's 2 to start, right? And then it's 1-1-1-1-1 to 12 feet for 60, 65.
I think it's also just worth mentioning with a little caveat that with those sandbag cleans at the women's upper division, we'd have that at 70.
Yeah, that definitely would go to 70, right? So it's 150, 100. Yeah, that was dumb. I mean, to be honest though, Rose was fucking struggling. I mean, I think they all were struggling at the end. So I don't know if it was that big of a deal. All right, event 3. What do you guys got?
This was one of my favorite ones. I kept it pretty similar. I just, for some reason, aesthetically like a kettlebell lunge better. So just have it as kettlebell lunges instead of dumbbell lunges.
It's way harder.
Yeah. Like I feel like it is a little bit harder to keep that
overhead position
here.
And you went overhead?
Yeah. I mean, it was dumbbell. Never mind. It was walking lunges. Yeah. So not overhead.
Oh, and I mean, it was to the side, right? Like, so is that?
Yeah. For some reason, I thought it was overhead walking lunges when I was working on it today.
Fucked. I didn't change it. I thought about adding a walking lunge to the end because everyone likes a race, and it was really short. And then I think you would actually see people like failing a lunge, but I don't know if you need that much intensity like day one, right? So I kept it the same.
Did you
My
keep
dream
it?
would be a rower, 25, like 25, 18 or something. So overhead squat, row, overhead squat.
Oh, that would be
Ugh,
so painful. That would be so
that'd be
painful, but
way
that's way
worse.
better. That's way better. I
And
like
then
that
like
way better.
it takes some of the fatigue off the knee flexion, right? But it just fucking destroys you.
Yeah. And what, like 25 calories? So they're
Yeah,
like
like
fucking,
25.
I mean, they're sprinting it. It took them 40 seconds to walk, roughly,
Yeah,
right? So
they'll be close to that
yeah,
same
I like
time.
that. Fuck
Do we
yeah.
see a
And then
situation where like I don't think I saw anybody break those last 25 overhead squats.
No,
Do you think that's the same case here?
yeah,
no,
because it's
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. I think
mentally.
everyone, yeah, it's just mentally, like you're not gonna fail. It just hurts. Like people just pause at the top.
Yeah.
Um, I like this. That's fun. That's gonna be
Do we
painful.
adjust the calorie amount for females?
Yeah, it'll probably be 20.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oof.
and then just work it down. It's still painful as fuck. Same thing, right? There's a
Yeah.
transitional component there too, right? But I think it's fine. That same you had to do the same thing with the dumbbells. You had to like move them to, or the barbell. You had to like move it to the side. So
Yeah.
I like that. I kept it the same. Maybe a row to finish. Nah, I like overhead squats here. That's
Nah,
fun.
just leave it.
I like that's fun. That's painful. All right, event 4, snatch ladder. I'll start. I just went with 4 bars, just a heavier bar, right? Nothing
Yeah.
different.
Yep.
So I just went heavier, and then we adjusted all the way down, right? I think they did a good job adjusting the weights. And so this was, yeah, I mean, I kept it pretty much as is, just a heavier weight, 4, 3, 2, 1. I thought it was good overall from that.
Yeah, I would have just made it squat.
Made it squat?
Like squat snatch. I would have just, I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, that's way harder.
But there's just a challenge to how efficient you are at catching.
Yeah.
Okay,
I feel like that like punishes the powerful athlete though. They can just grip and rip and run through it.
That athlete's probably should be doing a squat snatch pretty consistently better.
I mean,
than
yeah.
everyone else, right? What's happening here? Why is this doing this?
Yeah, but that's just a thought. Like it could not make sense at the end of the week, right?
Right.
But like how many are actually power snatching 245? Like you're gonna get close to where.
Yeah, but there's I feel like
squat it.
Yeah, no, I think most of them are squatting it, but I feel like I'd be way more fatigued to squat it if I had to squat 7 reps.
I just think about every open we've done with like a snatch ladder, like we've had to squat it, like the chest to bar snatch progression one.
That was the only one. That was the only squat snatch ever in the open.
Oh yeah, but I mean, even the cleans have been squat cleans, right? Even like the
cleans have been squat cleans. Yep. But that was the only squat snatch, and so I think for the masters, I think for 35 and 40, I think it's good. But I think for 45, it just gets. I mean, it's a good test, and I like testing range of motion. And so I don't know. I'm indifferent here, right? Like it's a different test at squat for the 50 plus, right? It's like do you have the movement knowledge to change it, right? Or like to address it and hit the weights properly. Jonathan, I think this isn't so much the ladder issue. It's just the scaling, right? So if we look at 50 could have just been too heavy, right? I don't know what they were, right? Let's look at the numbers. Was this event 4? So 50 to 54, it was pretty heavy, right? 135 for a 50 female. Rose was in 50 to 54 was still one of the strongest, and she was only snatching like 120, 125. She snatched 135 after she turned 55.
Which is sick.
It was crazy. But she was one of the strongest in the games all the years she was there. So I think it was just maybe a little heavy for it. For that. Let's see.
Yeah, this is the only one where I think the scaling is more, it's drastic, right? Like it's not the same. Like there's not it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't need to be only 10-pound difference. It's more of like what's the field and how do we get the most out of the field.
Yeah, to only be 20 pounds lighter than 35 is a miss. Like this was probably the only weight miss of the weekend, I think, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think everything else was spot on. But then like this drop was drastic, right? So like I think they just gave maybe a little bit too much credit to 50. Like 55 should have been to 125, right? So it even could have been 85, 95, 115, 125, right? Or 85, 95, 110, 125, right? Whatever it was. And then for men, I'm not sure. I haven't coached a male 50 to 54 in a long time. But that seems pretty heavy. But 45, this is such a big difference. Like 40 to 45, that's a big difference. But 45 to 50 is a giant difference right now. Like it's still there's 45-year-olds that have been individual games athletes. So on both sides, men and women. So, but on 50, there hasn't been. So I think it probably was too much of a reach, right? But 50 to 59, I think everything else was fine. But I think this age group kind of got the shaft.
I feel like it's more of you get there and you're hitting your 1 rep max, not 85 to 90% of your 1 rep max.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So, but overall, I don't know if I agree with squat just from the totality of the week. I mean, we have overhead, just personally, right? So we have overhead squats here. We're doing a front squat. Man,
I have a hard stance against it. But that's also my own bias.
Right. So you're looking at it from a speed perspective. I'm looking at it from a balance perspective, right? So I mean, well, really, now that I'm looking at it from what I took out, it's probably actually okay, because now we only have 1, 2, 3, and 4. I mean, that's four workouts with knee flexion.
Did you take out the dumbbell thruster?
Yeah, that was shitty movement. It was stupid. It was dumb. It didn't matter in any age group, which means it's a dumb movement. I don't know. Let's come back to this. We're going to asterisk this.
All right.
See if you guys think differently based on what else we write. All right. Event 5. Just kind of move that up here. Shoot. All right. Holy shit. All right. Event 5. What'd you guys change?
I feel like this might be almost a unanimous thing, but I really like the event. So all I literally changed was just shoulder to overhead to handstand push up.
Okay. All right. Lando.
I did 75 wall ball, 25 strict handstand push-ups, 50 box jump overs, 25 strict handstand push-ups, 75 wall balls.
I like that. That's a good one.
Because I feel like your endurance and your gymnastics shoulder fatigue would play a huge part in this. And there's a lot of shoulder, but not pressing, right? So I wanted to just maximize the press.
Gotcha. And so Nelson, you just went with same workout, just changed to 40. Is that strict?
No kipping.
Kipping. All right. So I was very similar, kind of a mix between both of you. Whoops. Where are we at here? Holy shit. I don't know where I'm going. Here we go. So I went with very similar, but I went 40 handstand push-ups on both sides. And the reason why I did was because of earlier, right? And so now I think we're starting to get it with the rope climbs and potentially changes later. I think we're starting to really get even potentially maybe a gymnastics heavy games. With this, which is fine. I kind of like Lando's better, but I like keeping the box step up just because of the feel. So like, I like Lando's the best. I like handstand push-ups on both, but I like going to 30 box step overs. And kind of balancing it out. Nelson, what do you think? Are you going to argue?
No, I mean, I like it. I'm curious the difference on what that, because I mean, I think like Jonathan had a good comment too, where like I think it was really cool seeing some of those athletes push on those last set of wall balls.
Sure.
And I'm curious how changing this, if that still allows them, because I mean, I feel like that was more or less kind of the intention. Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of why I kept the snatches in there. Because I want to see those athletes push on that, especially, in my writing of all of these, I switched the orders for the handstand or the bike too. So like so that way it's not like super penalizing, not penalizing, but like, doing 75 unbroken wall balls or a big set of wall balls at the end and then have to do the bike. It's kind of rough. But yeah, I mean, I kept the snatches because I wanted to see that.
Okay. All right. I don't know. What do we think? I think the dumbbell snatch was just kind of like, I don't know. I just felt like it didn't fit with the theme. Just personally, I really like this, but
I feel like it's like I kind of viewed it as like a postural endurance thing prior to going to the wall ball. But I mean, obviously, I think it was more like we only have dumbbells available, so we're going to utilize them as much as possible thing.
Right.
But in theory, I like it there.
I don't know. I'm indifferent. I don't like mine. I like Lando's. I don't know.
I mean, I'm good with it.
Here.
It becomes pretty aggressive, like you said. I think it becomes more gymnastic-y. Well, but I feel like we could take that in other places.
So we take off, right? But we take off the hold of the dumbbell, right? So inherently, the shoulders feel better going into the handstand push-ups, right? Yeah. So like, it's longer. It's probably still taking the same amount of time, right? In general, like if it turns it into a handstand push-up workout, 50 is a pretty big number, right? And then this gets obviously way smaller, right? It says this for 40, 20 for 45, 20 and 20, maybe even lower. It might even be 20. I don't know. I just like the way, I like the way this looks. Like the numbers don't make me want to gouge my eyes out either, right? Like these numbers are rough. I like the finish on the wall ball being really aggressive.
Yeah.
But, I think
you probably still have some people that like can. Like the other thing is like your heart rate probably drops a good bit on this 25 stretch unless you're just like a monster.
Right. I agree. I think I like it. Lando, we're sticking with yours. You nailed it. That's good. And it saves while we have box jumps, right? Like the box step over is probably harder on the knee overall, right?
Yeah.
All right. Event 6. I kept it the same. I didn't change anything.
I kept it the same.
I just dropped the gymnastics a little bit because as much as it was funny to hear John talk about doing it in one, I kind of want to see somebody try it and get a lot closer than they did.
How much would you, like, what would that, you're only talking 5 seconds, right? Or 10 seconds.
I mean, if you drop it to like 50 and 15 for 35 to 39. I feel like that's like 20 seconds.
That's, yeah, but yeah. Huh. I don't know. I think, but then there's no gymnastics. Like the gymnastics component is basically taken out completely because that's a.
I think if you see somebody like go aggressively at it and then not get there, like they're still going to be. It's like a gymnastics in a completely like fatigued state and like red line state. So I feel like it still tests that.
I don't know. I feel like 15 to 20 is such a big difference versus 15 versus along with 50 and 75.
But there's like not just a big enough reward for it.
No, there's definitely a reward and it definitely gets closer, but I still don't think anyone makes it, right? Who was the closest? Braun? No. 73, right? I think
he had 73, yeah.
Right, so he still needed 30 roughly, right? And so he wasn't getting 30 in that 20 seconds at the end.
I wonder though, like at what level did they know that going in and like paced it to the point where they knew they're not going to get that, but are just trying to rip off a big chunk versus somebody being like, I really think that I can do this.
Sure.
But I'm also okay with just keeping it the way it is.
But I think that defeats the purpose of it, right? I think the goal was no one could be able to do it, right? I think it would be cool, but I think that defeats the purpose of the test, right? Then it's only a bike test at that point. And
right.
Personally, the only thing that I would have changed is like at 50, I probably would have given them 3 minutes of work in the last round. Yeah, that's it. Just because I like their gymnastics, even the best, right, just aren't proficient enough to make it valuable in round 3. I'm going with same. I'm making the call here. I like the same. All right, event 7. I didn't change it. The only thing I changed was 50 and 54. I went to 20. because I think 25 was too big. And I know like some finished, but I don't think very many did. I actually didn't look at the leaderboard. I could be completely talking out of my ass. Let me see. Legends, Masters.
Just to have a better race, even for the bot, like the middle pack, right? Like they can choose, like instead of like, oh, you only got 19 muscle ups and someone got 20, right? It's more like who can get the most snatches at the end or whatever.
Yeah, let's see. Men. Yeah,
42.
Oh. Men 50 to 54. Let's see. A lot finished in the men, like 10. Let's see what the women did. This is also a very like sex bias test, especially at the higher age groups. Yeah, only 2 women finished. No, I guess 5 did. How many finished in 45 to 49? Okay, maybe not. I'll put my foot in my mouth. Yeah, 10 finished in 45 to 49. I mean, that's probably right. So never mind. I think 25 was probably good then. I would have liked to see 55 do some muscle ups there. They had to get muscle ups to get into the qualifier. They could have done like 15, 15, 15 or something like that. I don't think it was. I understand the totality of taking out a lot of gymnastics, but then they left bar muscle ups there. And so I guess that's fine.
That's a good point. What was the other event that they didn't do?
The overhead squat one.
The overhead squat, which is fine. Like there's the speed ladder tests the speed and the bike tests the, like the power there. And so, they're not moving, they're not moving that fast.
Yeah. No, I just forgot which one.
Power. Yeah, same. All right. Event 8. Nelson, you go. This was your favorite workout. You said you said it was, and then you lied. Then you just said event 3 was your favorite.
Well, I think what I was saying is like, I like this workout a lot because I think it's the one, and, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, to me, like the person who does really, really well at this is the person who I think has the best chance to win. Like, I feel like this to me, like, is a really good test. So really the only thing I changed is just made it heavier. I just made it 275. And to be honest, I only thought of it as 275. So I feel like the female equivalent to that would be like would it be 195? I feel like it's like typically like 315, 205. So yeah, maybe 195 or 185.
To 275?
Yeah, so 275. I feel like it'd be 275, 185. Okay.
185 is like the common.
That's like kind of aggressive though. I feel like they could do like 190. I feel like it's the same equivalent of like we see a lot of times nowadays. Instead of 185, 125, we're starting to see 185, 135.
It just depends on who writes it. They didn't do it here.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
I think they went 125.
How many do you think power clean 275?
I think that's the thing is I think that the majority of them all power clean it through the majority of the workout, but then it comes down to like, do you have the capacity to power clean it in rounds like 7 and 8? I think the majority of all the 35 males are power cleaning that. I mean, if you think about like the quarterfinals workout 2 years ago with the clean and jerks, I guarantee you all of the ones that made it from quarters into semis, like, well, obviously from the individual males, but like if the Masters had that workout too, didn't they? The clean and jerk workout with the burpee box jump overs. Didn't they also have the same workout? Didn't they also have it at 275? I would assume.
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah,
oh no, they didn't. No, they didn't have that. They were different. The quarterfinals, you mean?
Yeah.
Quarterfinals were different.
Okay.
Because they weren't at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, either way, I think that the majority of the males in the field and the majority of the females in the field are power cleaning that for, if not the entire workout, most of it.
Okay. Yeah. Lando, what do you got?
I kept it the same. I thought it was fine for.
What did I do? I think I said as is. I don't mind a heavier. I just we want to make sure we keep the intensity right. So
maybe up the cap a little bit. Because I do think there were some that came got capped.
So then or was it heavy? Was it So then if people
Yeah,
are
but I
getting
don't think they're
capped,
necessarily getting capped because of it being heavy or not being heavy. At that point, it's like a just like a general capacity thing with like bark burpees and toes to bar. And like, because I mean, I think this is a really high transition workout, right? So a lot of it comes
Right.
down to like, what do your burpees look like?
I mean, I don't think anyone's struggling with toes to bar.
So even in the 35 to 39 females, they got only 15 completed it out of the whole field. If
Okay.
to, you know
I mean, yeah,
I
I could be wrong there. I just think that I'd like it at 275. But I'm also fine. Yeah.
I don't mind it heavier. I think it was pretty heavy for the lower age groups though. So that's like the challenge point. I don't mind it heavier for 35. Did all the guys finish it? That's probably a good question.
Except for like after I think so 6 guys didn't finish.
6 guys didn't, and they were all right. 2 were right there. That's like the cap.
Yeah.
That's like the total. Dex didn't finish. Oh, he probably can't clean. Elijah didn't finish. He's terrible. What? That's weird. Anyways, he did really bad. That's not a good score. Anyways, so that's okay. We support you. All right. I don't mind heavier. I don't know if it goes heavier for as is heavier weight for lower age groups. Same for upper. Let's see what 50 did. 50 males.
Yeah, what was their weight?
50 male was 225. It's pretty fucking heavy for them.
Yeah.
I think that's that's like another kind of right. And so it definitely isn't heavier for them. 45 at 240. Like I think 45 is good. 35 could probably have been heavier. And then 40 to 44 was probably good at 180, 220, 255. And I think everyone else, I even think some of these could have gone a little lighter, right? It's hard to say because there's just going to be other limiters, right? So, but I mean, there was a 6 minute. I mean, someone got 6 minutes and 60, so they were cruising. Half the field finished. Yeah. I mean, I think it was probably right for the lowers. I could see a higher for probably just 35.
Yeah, but I also think it was probably a toes to bar, right?
There's so many limiters. I feel like it's so individually driven.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't think that should change, there. This is so weird. Why does it do this? Oh, I guess because it's at the peak of the screen. Anyways, all right. Vet 9, did you guys change the front squat or did you keep it?
No, I kept it.
I kept it, but changed the standard that they have to strip the bar.
What? Why?
I don't know. I think it's dumb.
Okay.
Like, I think that, like, if you want to strip weight off to, like, 185 and then clean it up, it's a lot faster than stripping the bar to a bare bar and having to reload everything.
It's probably a safety thing, right? Also, increases some strategy.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, front squat, barring a strip weight. I think it's fine. Either way. Okay, so all right, last event. What'd you guys do? Lando, you go first.
I kept it the same, except I did alternating dumbbell snatches.
Okay, because we took them out.
Bar muscle ups.
Did you keep it heavy? Did you keep it?
Yeah, 70-50.
70.
I would want to do like 75-55. Like that would be right, but I know equipment would be hard for that. So 70-50.
All right.
Just because I think it's a faster workout and more grip intensive, right? So then it's fucking.
Yep. Nelson, what'd you do?
All right, stay with me now. But
my
really, like, and I really didn't change much. I don't know. The way that it's written, I didn't really like. So I literally just broke the workout in half and made you transition back and forth. So like 4 on one arm, 4 muscle up, 4 on the other arm, 4 muscle up.
So
and then six,
yeah,
six,
yeah, I
six,
see what you're
six.
saying. So like, I got it.
I just
Or
feel
sing.
like it gives you a little bit more of a chance to like hold on to something more aggressive numbers wise. Um,
I'm
and I
pretty sure
know
the
like,
upper age groups almost went unbroken though, right?
did they?
Yeah, the upper age groups did.
What would the numbers? Did the numbers change?
No, it was 8, 12, 16.
So you're saying that the upper age groups did 16 muscle ups unbroken?
No, I meant like the 35s.
Oh, no. I mean,
Yeah.
no. They're like, I feel like 2 guys I saw go unbroken at 16.
Mm-hmm.
Like the majority broke, and then it came down to like what your breaking sets were.
Right. It's a gymnastics workout.
Yeah, and I like the idea of like just giving them a little bit more of an opportunity to hold on to something unbroken.
I don't like it.
Plus, like the numbers look better to me.
I don't like dumbbell snatch either. I think dumbbell in this workout's lame. I think it's boring. I hate dumbbell snatch. I just hate the movement in competition. Like not super high volume. Like at 100 or something, I think would be sick. Like 170.
Well, what if you just made it
Yeah.
thruster?
No,
That's a lot
I
of
mean,
squatting.
yeah, and so that's why I didn't go with the squat. A thrust, like
What
just
would you
a
do, CJ?
thruster. A thruster would be better. Like 4 and 4, like 4 bar muscle ups, like 2 rounds, like 2 rounds, 4 and 4.
Oh no, I like the ladder format though.
What do you mean? This is what you wrote,
No, but I'm saying, oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
right? Isn't this? Or no, it's
Yeah.
6 and 6.
You're just writing it in a different way than.
Right? It's the same way. 8 and 8.
Yeah,
That's
the
how
2
you-
rounds just threw me off. Like,
So I went with wall walk because I don't know if you've ever done a wall walk bar muscle up pairing. It is the absolute hardest pairing. It's like ski. It's like doing a lot of ski volume and trying to do muscle ups and not being able to lock out at the top. And then it takes it to like a fully gymnastics workout, right? But
yeah,
I also think at 70 pounds and even 70 pounds here, the dumbbell is just irrelevant. It's still a bar muscle up
it did
workout,
seem kind of irrelevant.
right? And so like even here, right? So this makes it maybe more or less. I think it stays the same, but in this one, again, yes, it does add some grip component, but I don't think it's enough. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe it is. Maybe there's the grip factor in this, but like, I like this. I do like the way that this looks, right? I just don't know if it changes anything on it. I think they definitely stay unbroken for sure. But again,
Yeah.
I don't know if that changes the winner.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily the intent. And I feel like this is a question we maybe should have asked them too. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, do you think that like maybe this was originally written as a barbell thruster because there's some form of like paying homage to the fact that so many of these last events end with thrusters?
No, I mean they definitely because there's so much barbell. They had the equipment to make that happen. So this was
Okay.
this was the workout.
Or maybe it
This
was like
was the
dual
workout.
dumbbell thruster.
Maybe it was dual dumbbell thruster, which I would.
What if we make it a
like
devil's
more.
press?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like devil's press. Even
So-
That
so-
sounds
4,
terrible.
6, 8.
Right, it does. So 4, 6, 8. So hear me out though, right? There's just a rest component in the devil's press, right? And so I don't know if that affects the bar muscle up savant, right? It does a little bit, but because you get to lay on the ground, right? Like what fatigues the most in a devil's press? It's just your back.
Yeah.
Right. Like grip can fatigue, but not at that number, right? Not at 4, 6, 8. Like, I don't think that's enough. Like it would need to be like 8, 12, 16. And then the workout's just like, I don't know.
Long, right?
I'm kind of viewing it the opposite way, though. I'm viewing it as like most of those people are not doing what we would consider a traditional devil's press in terms of the fact that like they're going way faster. And like,
Right.
Also,
so
don't
like
even
the,
know
like the
CrossFit
resting at the
allows-
ground isn't even an issue because they're not resting at the ground. Like they're hitting the ground and then ripping their
Right.
chest back up off.
Yeah, but there's just like there's a passive component to it. Like you're still laying on the ground at some point, right?
Dual dumbbell hang snatch.
That's I like that too. I still like my wall walk better.
Hang squat clean
Yeah,
thruster
or
with the 2 dumbbells.
Hang squat. Now, sandbag clean. What are we talking? Sandbag
yeah.
thruster? What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
What'd you say, Lando?
I was gonna say. I was just thinking. I was like box step overs, right? Because we took them out of the other one at 70,
Yeah.
50. and keeping the numbers the same.
With 2 dumbbells?
Yeah.
Dude, that's the worst, dude. It's a low enough number, dude. Step overs with a fucking 70 makes me want to throw
Yeah,
up.
And keep it at 20,
like
right?
too,
20
like,
for everybody, like nothing crazy.
What do you mean?
Okay, well that
21.
makes it a little bit better, like inches.
Like keep it 20-inch box, even for the men, so that they can
make them dumbbell box
through.
step ups.
Oh my god. I don't know. I mean, I guess it was 70. It probably was supposed to be dumb. We should have asked that.
Like dual dumbbell thruster.
Yeah. All right, chat. We need some help. Are we doing dumbbell snatches? Are we doing probably dumbbell thrusters? I don't know if like I understand where this is coming from, but I like this component. Like I like the density component instead of the capacity, like the transition component. I feel like we had a lot of that, right? Like I feel like we had it in event 8, and
I feel like outside of event 8 though, it was like that because of equipment limitations and space limitations.
But we
event
rewrote
8,
the workouts.
Right. So I'm saying outside of that now, I feel like there's less transition bias.
I mean, this one is, yeah, I guess.
Because I also like, well, yeah, because event 3 isn't really transition bias because it's not like you're not swapping 10.
Yeah, but you getting on and off, but it's still a capacity based piece, right? So like you took this from like gymnastics density and made it like capacity, right? Like most people are going to go unbroken now because it's a set break, right? So now I think it devalues the bar muscle up in the gymnast, right? And it increases, like it balances the field. And I just don't know if that's needed in the workout. That's my goal. I like a dumbbell thruster, 2 dumbbells.
I feel like that's the point of a final workout though, right? Like make it a little bit more balanced and see who's like willing to make it hurt more.
What do you mean? They all finished with semifinals finished with 20 muscle ups in a row. And then a 100-foot lunge that people failed. Like if they broke that into 2 rounds, none of that would happen, right?
That's fair. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm looking at the last workout at the games though, and like a lot of it came down to like your capacity, like in that final.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. But they were like at pure failure.
Yeah,
those
that's
were big
fair.
chunks, right? Like, so it would be kind of like saying the last one, instead of 18-15, it would have been 2 rounds of like 9 and 8 or 9 and 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Camille, I did say dual dumbbell hang snatch, but honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, like
it's a lot of hinge. And
hinge. Like what Kevin talked about too, like he was really nervous on like bicep. And like I know obviously the dual dumbbell like isn't inherently bicep, but when you're that fatigued, it might become a little bicep. Right. And that makes me a little nervous. So probably not that.
Sure.
What if you did like 30 bar muscle ups and then 30 dumbbell thrusters?
Oh, but that blows up the ladder altogether. Actually, that's what
I mean. Like if we're thinking race, right? In race, like
that's
and then
like one big chunk.
Just one big chunk of bar muscles, and then who can grind for the finish.
Yeah, and then
I mean, if we're doing bar muscle ups, Savant, though, maybe we flip that and end with the muscle ups.
I don't ever like ending on gymnastics. I always feel like is like it just ends up looking sloppy. You know what I mean? Like because I know the risk. The risk is there.
That I present to you that you're like, I love it.
Yeah, one day I'll teach you. I'll teach you how to speak to me.
I'll be assimilated.
I don't know. That's all right. It's good. It's good that we think different. This means our program is very.
Chat, help us out. We need help. We're not good enough to write
all
this
19
event.
of you. We can't figure this one out. I still like my wall walks, but I know you guys don't.
I mean, it's just too. It's like dual. I feel like it's GG. I feel like we need something else in there.
Right. I just feel like the GG is actually going to. So I don't think the dumbbell in this case is relevant at all. In the dumbbell snatch, maybe a little bit more here, but I don't think like unless it's a heavy barbell, right? Like a 135, 95, I think the barbell is irrelevant. Like the dumbbell was irrelevant, right? So like, I think that 8, 12, 16 is still like, it didn't make a difference. This is going to maybe heavily bias the gymnast, but if we look at who did really well, right? I mean, there's also a lot of
strength
other work. Yeah, there's a ton of strength. Heavy barbell, heavy bar, right? Power output on the bike. 30 ring muscle ups though, 50 box, like 50 strict handstand push-ups, 10 legless rope climbs. So we shifted it around a little bit, and it definitely helps out a more gymnastics based athlete.
What about a dual or either? I mean, it could be maybe like a single dumbbell shoulder to overhead that's like heavy, like 170. So that way it like really blows up like.
Mm-hmm.
Or this is like, yeah, but that's too. I was gonna say, or this
I
is
mean,
where
I
you
don't
add
mind
the
like,
lunge, right?
I mean, I honestly like a dumbbell thruster at 70-50.
Say dual dumbbell thruster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a dual. I mean, I think that keeps it pure and close. And now it's like, this is hard, right?
So
Like
did we literally
everyone's,
just write? Did we just do all that to have the same workout just with another
well, I mean,
dumbbell?
no, I mean, I think 2 dumbbells is a totally different workout.
It is,
Like
yeah, but
it does balance it out in the sense of
yeah,
like it still rewards those that are strong and that can get unbroken here. But like if you go unbroken on 16 here,
Yeah.
it's probably a bad idea. Like it's probably a
Yeah.
good idea to break the dumbbell before your bar muscle ups because you're going to be at a pressing failure at that point, right? And I just
Bronislav's
like
holding on to those all day.
yeah, for sure. But he's really struggling to press out of that bar muscle up though,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I still like wall walks better, but I guess I'll take the L.
Throw a cash out, 30 wall walks.
That's right. Yeah, 100 wall walks for time. What do you think? Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I still like my numbers just with the way it looks, but yeah, I just didn't like the way that the rep scheme looked for some reason. But I think
Yeah,
that's a good test.
that's their thing though, right? That's like a Legends thing is ascending ladders. They always
Yeah.
do ascending ladders, and so to keep it similar. So we didn't change much, right? Made events maybe just a little bit more challenging, but looking at the fatigue from the week, that might not even be a good idea, right? Taking out the lunge here probably helps.
Yeah.
Like people were beat up, right? So as we sit here and stare at it, it's.
But it seemed like it was mostly legs, right? Like I didn't hear too many people complain about overhead.
Yeah, no, I feel like it was all legs.
So we took step overs out, right? So the legs got a little bit, even though it's box jumps, I think that's less than the legs here, adds a gymnastics component. Because strict hands, I don't think strict handstand push-ups were tested for older age groups either.
Yeah, no, and then semis.
They had kipping at 55.
No, they
Oh,
did,
55. Oh,
they
okay,
had
okay, okay.
strict. Remember to the floor.
No, I think that was 2 years ago. It was that
That was-
that 20-minuter, right? But I
No,
don't
this
think
one
that-
was for
I know
55
50s did.
plus. I know for 55 they had to go strict all the way to the or even to the floor. I think it was
In that long AMRAP?
the toes. I think it was toes to bar, rope climb, strict handstand push-ups.
No, it was double unders, chest to bars, box jumps.
Yeah,
strict
that's the one I'm
handstand
thinking of.
push-ups. But I felt like, let's see.
I know 50s did. I don't think I don't know about 55s.
Oh yeah. You're right. No,
Was it to like a riser?
No.
No, to the
It
floor.
was 60 and 65 was kipping. 55 was strict to the floor.
So even here,
So-
right? Give them a riser here and then change the ball game.
Yeah, 60 and 65 gets a riser for sure for like 15 or 10 or something like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, maybe we should have had Kevin on this one. We'll send it to him and see if he likes it better or not.
Well, I think like with the squatting considerations now, can we like say that it's a power snatch, or are you gonna die on
Yeah,
that
yeah,
hill?
we'll
Okay.
stick.
Yeah,
We
if
can
this
stick.
is dumbbell, if this doesn't go to wall walk, which it should, this is fine. No squat snatch. I like the row. I do. We took out a lunge. We took out a step over, which is a very identical pattern, right? From a stimulus perspective. So a little bit less knee flexion, but increased knee flexion here. So same. Yeah. A lot of bounding now at this point, right? Box jumps here. Let's look at the times. So everything got longer for sure. This definitely got way longer. I mean, this is probably, what was the
Unless you
fastest time
put a
here?
cap on it.
I mean, yeah, but no, you don't put it. It's not a 12-minute cap. I think it's still a 12-minute cap.
Is that 2?
I mean, that's a lot more handstand walking
They
too.
were finishing that in 6 minutes, so Will Morad did that 6 flat.
I mean, I'd say we put like a 15-minute time cap. So this goes to 15.
And the longest workout was 10.
For that. Yeah, I like this at 15, so it probably pushes everyone back 2 to 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then here it was an 18-minute time cap, but it's 2.5 miles, 50 deads. I mean, I'd probably put it to a 25-minute, but it's probably going to be closer to 20, right? The fastest time was like 12 minutes, right?
Yeah, or the slowest was 12. The fastest was 10:30.
Jonathan's heading. Are you in and out? I bet you turning around heading to NorCal this weekend.
Yeah, it's on Friday, right?
Yep. What were you saying, Lando? I think this stays the same.
Oh, I said Will Morad finished event 1 in 10 minutes, and then I think Dex, who was in last place, finished in 12 on the first workout, event 1.
Do we still keep this 2 minutes? Is this still a little bit heavier because it's heavier 3-minute cap?
Yeah, I say 3 minutes.
Yes.
3.
I don't think that hurts anybody.
Does this get longer? This probably doesn't. It probably stays the same, right?
I think it balances out because those dumbbell step overs were slow.
I mean, were they though? Like, how many people broke those more than once? I feel like people got off those pretty quickly.
Think about the time compared to a box jump over, right? Straight, I think that strict handstand push-up is going way faster than we really think, right?
I think the first half.
I want to see Kevin.
I don't know. You think he's going unbroken after 75 wall balls?
No,
though,
I don't think so. I think that would be a good idea because, like, a quick break, like, I think it's fine. I think this increases to 18. I think it increases by. I think times increase by. What would that be? 20%. So I think whatever their time was, I think you add 20%, and that's probably roughly around their new time.
I mean, do you just feel like I see so many more people getting capped though?
Yeah, for sure. But that's what but you have to like look at like, you know, we're looking at the fastest, right? So, you know, it's still, we increase it by, I mean, we don't, if it's 20, if it needs to be 20 minutes, then it's probably too much, right? Then it needs to go to like 20 strict handstand push-ups, but the numbers look pretty.
I know.
So, but it still tests the same person, right? Like, you know, like there is a race on the wall balls, but it's, you know, it's a little bit more heavy to a strict handstand push-up test.
Yeah. I think it leans much more towards that for like the majority of the field. I mean, and also like, what did we say? When does it start getting adjusted? Like, what's the regression for this?
Probably 45, 45, and then 45 goes to, and then this is the only thing that's adjusted, right? It's probably just
right.
Like 20, 40, 20, something like that. And then like 15. I don't know. Maybe this stays the same.
Yeah, I was going to say that can probably stay the same.
That probably stays the same till 60. Maybe it drops down at 60, right? And it goes to like 30. So every 10 years it drops down by 5. And then so 55 is 10 and 10, right? And then 60 is like maybe 10 and 10 to a riser.
Yeah.
60 and 65. You said you thought about increasing the time. I mean, I don't know. If, let's see. So we're still here, same. So that's like how much work? That's 9 minutes of work, 9 work. And pretty much everyone used all of it. 12 minutes, we keep it the same. So it's 12. I think we're definitely a little more balanced from a time perspective now. 8. I think 8 still fits pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, it still challenges. I think enough people are probably going to get close. So 8, that's still 5, whatever it was. It doesn't count for 5, but 5. And then dual dumbbell thruster. We took out a little bit of knee flexion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this definitely takes longer. So, I mean, probably a 10-minute cap.
What was it before? It was 8.
8.
Yeah. I think 10's fine.
And Will Morad did it in 3 minutes. So,
holy shit. So, I mean, he probably, I mean, it's definitely not 3, right?
Yeah.
He didn't win that workout though. Didn't Matthews win it?
Yeah, at 306.
Yeah.
That's insane. People are so fucking fit. It's so mind blowing, dude. I Will, if you're listening, because I know all of you are, I want to see you do like whatever
Wall
that last
walks and
workout.
bar muscle ups.
No. I want to see you do some games workouts and put some scores up. I want to see you do chat as written. I want to see you do the mile and field sprint. I want to see you do some of the CrossFit Games workouts. I need you to show me how close you were to being a fucking podium athlete. Because based on this, I don't know, man. I fucking think you were, dude. This is crazy. I think these are really, really impressive. You know, what did he get on the semifinals workout? That workout won. But didn't he hurt himself on that workout? Or did he make it past the first workout? Do you guys remember leaderboard? Who's in the West? West or East? East, right?
East, yeah.
East.
Well, part of me, did he go?
Yeah. He got fourth on the first workout. 21 minutes. Bruh. He was fit. Sorry, buddy. Man. He was very fit. And then 31st on the front squat. And that was when his hip locked up. I want to see you do that workout again. I feel like you fucking have a Colton time on that one based on this stuff. Anyways, cool. All right, that's where we're at. I think it looks good. More balanced. So three workouts under 5. Same. It's pretty similar. We have 3 workouts over 15 now, which was written over 12, 3 over 12. But now I think we actually have a 20-minute workout. I think we actually have multiple workouts in double digits, which we really only had one, right? What was the fastest score for event 5? Excuse me.
I want to. I don't know.
10 minutes, Braun.
Okay.
So we had a double digit time frame there, but I think this makes it a little bit longer. It might actually make it a little shorter for some, if they're really, really good at strict handstand push-ups. But yeah, I think it was. I think this looks good. I'm excited for it. I think we did a good job.
I don't think that workout gets shorter for anybody.
I think
that's like Karen and 50 strict handstand push-ups.
Yeah, I think it does. The 40 dumbbell shoulder to overhead, like that eats people up. And the dumbbell buck step overs, 40 dumbbell snatches, even fast takes a minute 20. There's people that are just going to rock out 5, right, quick in the same time frame, if not faster. But I don't know, maybe not. If you're good at strict handstand push-ups, it takes the same time. If you're not, then it probably takes a little longer.
Yeah.
Or a decent bit longer, right? And then I think it adds a gymnastics.
Only one way to find out.
That's right. I'll let you do it next week.
All right.
Cool. Sweet. All right, guys. I know Nelson has to get to bed. It's past his bedtime. It's 9:43. What time do you get up? What's your bedtime for 9? Or what time do you get up? Why do you have to go to bed so early?
I mean, I get up at like 6:30.
8.5 hours. All right. Sweet. Well, hey, thanks, guys. Thanks in the chat. Do you guys have anything to close off with?
No,
I think they look good.
Yeah, I think it was good. That was fun.
Give us a job.
Joe, no, we have a job. No, we don't want that job. That means you have to stop working at WODprep.
You don't have to stop working. They just, tell you to go program for the games.
Yeah,
take a couple site visits.
We'll be live Thursday at 1 Central to go just CrossFit news. Me, John, and Travis. Hopefully go over Rogue Invitational workouts and NorCal workouts, and then just whatever fucking drama we have at the time. So just our weekly CrossFit news update show. And then Friday morning, coffee and conversations. Nelson's going to join me. So I'm not just yelling at the screen at you guys in the morning. So same time, same place. 1 o'clock Thursday, 6:30 Central Friday. All right. Adios, everyone. Have a good day, week, and we'll see